And when you're done making this chart, you guys can just kind of give us a thumbs up either in your screen or on the chat, just say good to go.
Would you mind temporarily making the chart bigger?
A little bit bigger.
Yeah, just so maybe they could take a screenshot.
Yeah.
Someone's requesting that in the chat.
Does that help? I don't know if I can go any bigger. I think that's about as big as that.
I don't know how to take a screenshot. I'm gonna look.
Okay, John, did you ask them to like just copy this down first? Is that what you asked? Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, just
okay.
Take a minute or two.
Okay. Now, all of the dollar copy little bit, no whole side time. Okay.
Just do about 30 more seconds and then we'll get ready to move on. Okay. And if you haven't quite finished yet, that's okay. Remember, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. Just a spot for you to kind of write down some of these things as we go over the next section. All right, I'm gonna just make these a little bit more even for now, and then I'll switch back later. So we have our next article here, or our next section of the article, I should say. And you remember our steps. Let me go back up to our steps real quick. Our first step is to brainstorm, right? So that's the first thing we have up here on our chart. We have the title, I already wrote it down there for you. This is the title, Social and Environmental Cost. Go ahead and just take another minute or so and just start brainstorming what you think about when you read that title. So go ahead and do that now.
The social and environmental cost. Go brainstorm no shall be doing go tida lady, go ye chairman, go tibida lady, go tenary, go ye no or brainstorm so that lima.
I'm also going to ask for a response from some people, so just have one in mind.
Okay, so period charge in a business, no, or similar paper, no, comment, no, okay. Or paragraph of Gina, one of Gonzin or GB, okay, but packing the bonota, or letting out of the sun or Tubuamono, or Gonzin or Yin GB or bar Timless or General, since that way. Hello, a chilo da young on about sorry by playing Lisa or Gonzin, Jim Pame, Papilamness or Papiness or what, in 3 time Padecatula, simply a bono, Padecatula or Gotina and Tilayin. But go comprehension go now then go come by. Okay.
Can everyone see the paragraph?
All me yeah, no?
I'll make the paragraph bigger in a second.
Okay, no problem.
All right, why don't we move ahead? Just in your yes, I can try to speak a little more slowly. Sorry about that. In the chat, if you guys could just come up with 1 or 2 words that you wrote down in your brainstorm. Just go ahead and type that out in the chat. Let's see what people came up with.
Chema you people yam do no? Okay, oh by ye like brainstorm by the ye paper. Okay, Sema Jen, pure definition you try to not do brainstorming. So what do you think about? What do you think this reading is about?
Oh, okay.
The reading up by John Lin. Okay.
Good.
So those are good. We have people's lives.
Trees.
Trees. Animals. These are all very good. air, and water. Those are all very good. Thank you. Anybody else come up with anything else? Natural resources. I like that. That's good.
Big words, natural resource, good.
Daily life. Social, good. Okay, so again, and if you're still typing, that's okay. What you come up with might not be the same as what others come up with. Everyone's going to come up with something different,
Let's
as
go
you
on
can
to
see.
environmental impacts. Okay.
Yep.
Waste, good.
So as we could see, this still kind of all deals with the environment and trees and animals and air and water, all of that, right? So this again kind of gets us into the concept of what this article is talking about, right? Or at the very least, this section of this article. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch over again to our paragraph here. And this is going to be a little bit harder to make as big as possible because it's slightly longer. I'm going to try make it as big as we can without cutting anything off.
အားလုံးမြင်ရလားမသိနော်ဟို paragraph ကိုမြင်ရရင်ပြောပါ Okay ဖတ်လို့ရရင်နော်
So now you have this section of this article here. As we did earlier, where we marked up the text up top, we starred things, we put question mark next to unknown words. I'd like you guys to try to do the same thing with this section of this text, all right? I know it's a little bit longer, so I'm not necessarily expecting, marking up every single line. But what we would like to see is at least 2 to 3 keywords that you starred, at least one word that you're putting a question mark next to that you may not know. Circle at least 2 things that relate to details, so like numbers or dates, and then underline at least one piece of important information that might relate to the main idea. Okay?
Yeah, so maybe push up so that they could see the text code a little bit. John, what do you think?
Oh, yes, of course. There we go.
Thank you. Okay, အခုကျွန်တော်ခုနဆရာကျောင်းပြောလို့အများကြီးလုပ်စင်မလို့ပါဘူးเนาะကျွန်တော် text ကိုလုပ်မယ်ဟုတ်လားသင်္ကေတလေးပြင်မယ် keyword နှစ်ခုသုံးခုဆိုရင်ရပါပြီเนาะဟုတ်ကဲ့အများကြီးလည်းရေးစရာမလိုပါဘူးkeyword မို့ပြီးကြတော့မသိတဲ့စကားလုံးလေးရှင်ဟုတ်ကဲ့question mark ပေးမယ်အရေးကြီးတဲ့ date တွေ number တွေရှင်း circle ပေးမယ်ပြီးကြတော့အရေးကြီးတဲ့စာကြောင်းစာပိုက်ရှင်း underline လုပ်ဟုတ်ကဲ့เนาะအဲ့ဒါလေးလုပ်ပေးပါ
So again, if you could just do this on your chart that you wrote down on your piece of paper, just down here, just write some things that you would have done.
ကျွန်တော်ဒီမှာစာရွက်ကတော့ဟိုဒီကကျောင်းသားကျောင်းသင်တန်းသားဒီမှာမရှိဘူးဆိုတော့ဒီကိုရေးထားတဲ့ဒီ chart ထဲမှာပဲရေးပေးလိုက်ပါနော်ဟုတ်ကဲ့
Okay, we're going to take, I believe, probably about 5 to 7 minutes for you guys to read through this. So go ahead and do that now, and we will meet back in a few minutes. If you need to take a break, this would be a good time to do it.
Okay, ကျွန်တော်9မိနစ်ကနေ9မိနစ်ကြာဟိုနည်းနည်းလေးအချိန်ပေးမယ်နော်။လုပ်ဖို့ break ယူချင်လည်းရပါတယ်အဲ့ကြားထဲမှာ
Take just a couple more minutes. All right, are we ready to get started again? Why don't you maybe send us a little message in the chat when you're ready to move on.
Okay, ဟို ready ဖြစ်ပြီဆိုရင်ကျွန်တော်ပြောပါဟို Okay, looks like I'm seeing thumbs up.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I'm gonna for a second just clear what we have on here right now. And let's go back to our chart. Why did I do that? There we go. Okay. Looking at our chart, what I'd like to do is we're going to go through each one of these, and I'm going to ask you guys in the chat to give us some of the things that you wrote down for each of these. Okay. So for keyword, oh, sorry, go ahead, Guy.
ကျွန်တော်ဟိုရေးထားလိုက်ပေါ့နော် keywords တို့ရေးထားတာလေးတွေကျွန်တော် share ပေးလို့ရမှာမသိဘူးเนาะ okay ဟို chat box ထဲမှာဖြစ်ဖြစ် okay.
Okay, so for keywords, what are some keywords, just a couple that you found in this section of the text? Go ahead and write them in the chat. Plastic, pollution, I like that.
Hydropol.
What else we got?
Hydropol. Good. You guys have
Environmental,
the
that's
same.
good, yeah. That's pretty much all the same ones I found. Very good. I'd say for the most part, those are probably all the big ones. Anyone else find anything different? Okay, how about unknown words? What's at least one unknown word that someone found?
တီးရဲ့စလုံးလေးတွေပါလိမ့်ရှိနေမသိနော်
Yeah, hydropol is a good one.
Okay.
I didn't know what hydropol was.
Estimated
Was one. What else we got? Account
Account
for
for.
is a phrase that might not know. Yeah.
Interesting they bring up some like phrase like two words combinations.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because account and account for can mean different things.
Right, absolutely. Coding on food label, that's a good phrase.
Yes,
I'm glad you guys are coming up with phrases. Yeah. Okay, good. So yeah, these are definitely some really good words or phrases that you might have a difficult time understanding or might make the reading a little bit harder to understand. Hopefully that the context of the article or those words, you might be able to figure out kind of what they mean or what they're alluding to, or later in the article, it might help to later in the article, you might find out what some of those words mean. Okay, very good.
Yeah, maybe quickly, John, you could.
Yeah.
So, John ပြောတော့တဲ့အတိုင်းပဲပေါ့နော်ဟိုဒီစကားလုံးတွေအတွင်းကိုမသိတာရှိရင်တခြားဟာတွေဖတ်ပြီးတော့သိလိုက်တဲ့ဟာလေးရှိလားပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒါလေးရှင်းနေတာမသိဘူး I was just saying so they read the word they don't know it so and they kept reading the paragraph so did you figure any word out based on the context or based on the reading so ခုနမသိတဲ့စကားလုံးလေးပေါ့နော်ဟိုထင်တာလေးရှိလားမသိဘူးနော်ဥပမာကျွန်တော် hydroponic and estimated ကိုဘာထင်လဲမသိဘူးဆက်ဖတ်ပြီးတော့ကြည့်တဲ့အခါကျတော့
Did you just ask them if?
Yeah.
They could. Okay. So was the only one able to figure out any of the meanings of any of those words?
Okay, မသိတဲ့စကားလုံးလေးတွေဟိုထင်တာလေးတွေဟိုဒါထင်တယ်ဒီအဓိပ္ပာယ်ဒါထင်တယ်အဲ့လိုလေးရှိလားမသိဘူးနော်
Can I step in first?
Oh yeah, sure.
So sometimes if a word is really important, the author will tell you what it means. So in this text, the author does tell you what hydropol means. And they use that word called. So it says Williams Company spent 15 years developing a plastic alternative called Hydropol.
Mhm.
It can be more easily recycled.
And so that tells us that it's a
Okay.
plastic alternative.
And we have something in the chat that says a product used by recycling the waste. And that's
Mhm.
pretty much exactly, because I do not know what this word means
Right.
either. So that's pretty much what I was thinking too.
Nice job, Jojo. Okay.
Excellent.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Okay. How about things that we circled? Remember, these are details, usually, like I said earlier, numbers or dates, but could be other things as well sometimes. Well, why does it keep doing that? Okay, there we go. What are some details that people circled? What are some numbers or dates or other facts you might have circled? Yep, good one, $139 billion. What else? $15 years. Very good. Those were two big ones that were kind of jump right out, right? Anybody else find anything else to circle? So I did mention that numbers are the easy ones to kind of find. We found a name. Yeah, that's good. You might have to reference, somebody's name later. So this guy Williams, 1/3. Yeah, even though it's not written as a number, it's written out. Very good. Okay, so yeah, those are all very good ones. One other that I found is there is plastic related pollution in air, water, and land. I'm not going to write out the whole thing. I'll just write out the beginning of that, but that is a fact, right? So it's not always just numbers. It's could also be just things that are facts. I'll just write there is plastic pollution. All right, lastly, things that we underlined, important information. This one's probably one of the harder ones to find, so I only asked you to find one, but something that you thought related to the overall meaning or argument of this article. And sometimes a lot of times I'll say this is maybe like a full sentence. You don't have to write out the full sentence here, just maybe the first few words. Reusing waste products, I think it said might raise costs somewhere.
The last paragraph, second line, hydropol breaks down in water and dissolves harmlessly.
Very good. Yeah, I like that one.
Hydropol can replace plastics because it is stronger than bioplastics. Reusing waste products might raise. So even if you only got part of a sentence, that's perfect.
Very good. And something I'm noticing is a lot of people are finding things in this last paragraph. That's a good strategy. Oftentimes, some of the main ideas of an article will typically be found right up top in the very first paragraph or way down in the bottom in the last paragraph.
Okay အဲ့ဒါအရင်ရေးကြည့်နော်ဆရာကျောင်းပြောလို့အများစုကြည့်ရတာဒီ paragraph နောက်ဆုံး paragraph နဲ့အရှေ့ဆုံး paragraph မှာရေးကြည့်ရဲ့ information တွေတွေ့ရတယ်နော်ဒီမှာဒီတော့တခုခုဖန်အများစုပေါ့နော်အားလုံးတော့ပေါ့အများစုကဒီအားလုံး article အားလုံးရဲ့ဟာလာအကျုံးရေးကြည့်အချက်တွေကထိတ်ဆုံးမဝင်အဲ့အောက်ဆုံး paragraph မှာရှိပါတယ်ဟုတ်ကဲ့
Okay, very good. So let's again just quickly review our steps. So you guys did great. Let's go back up. So again, our steps. The first thing we did some brainstorming. We looked at the title of the article and we thought, what are some things I already know about this subject? Next, we read the text and we tried to mark it up as best we could with the codes that we have here. And you'll notice here I have ×2 if needed. I often read paragraphs or articles multiple times to try to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Can I just
we try to Sarah, go ahead.
Inject something? Yeah, because that's important. တခါကြတခါပဲပထမဆုံးချိန်ဖန်သိပ်ပါနားမလဲပေါ့နော်ဒုတိယအချိန်တတိယအချိန်တော့ဖမ်းမှတကယ်နားလည်လာတဲ့အချိန်ရှိပဲ Okay.
Next, we do try to make sure we review any of our unknown words, the things that we mark with question marks. Maybe we saw a word earlier on that we didn't know, but it was defined later. So we go back and make sure we understand how it was used earlier. And then last, we didn't really go over this, but we try to summarize the passage as best we can. And the way we're going to do that right now is to see if I already told you that these two things that we read are actually part of a larger article. And these were just two subheadings within that article. There is an overall title for this full article. So what I want everyone to do is just take a couple minutes and see if you can come up with a good title for what you think this whole article would be.
Okay, ကျွန်တော်အခုလောက်ရမယ်ဟာပါအရာကတော့အခုနှစ်ပိုက်ဖတ်ပြီးဒီနှစ်ပိုက်ကိုကြည့်ပြီးတော့ဟာလာဒီ article ရဲ့ဟာလာဒီ article ရဲ့ခေါင်းစဉ်ပေးမယ်เนาะခေါင်းစဉ်ကတော့ရှိပြီးသားဒါပေမဲ့ဒီကခေါင်းစဉ်ကိုဘာထင်လဲကျွန်တော်ရေးစေချင်တယ်ခေါင်းစဉ်ကိုတွေ့ရင်ပေါ့เนาะကျွန်တော်နှစ်ပိုက်ဖတ်ပြီးခေါင်းစဉ်လေးကိုရေးပေးပါဘာခေါင်းစဉ်ပေးကောင်းမလဲပေါ့เนาะ Do you want to make it a little bit larger the
article?
The text, yeah. So that they need to look it back again. Na pai long chom mi do kaung sin to pi yao no. Okay.
Okay, so in the chat, once you've come up with something, just write out what you think a good title for this article would be based on both things that we read. So that's this second one and this one. So we got how to recycle plastic into useful things. That's very good. What do you think a good title would be for this? So let's see.
Sorry.
Today.
Trying to put multiple modalities out there.
Anyone else come up with any good titles? Reducing environmental cost by recycling the plastic. That's good. I like that. So right off the bat, I noticed we have someone that used kind of just a straight statement and someone else that used a question. That's great. Sometimes articles are, the titles are phrased as questions. Sometimes they're just statements. That's good. Anyone else? All right.
Well,
I know
John,
that one's a little bit harder. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kai.
I was just saying maybe also push up to the first paragraph. Just
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Even just 1 or 2 or 3 words. It doesn't have to be doesn't have to make sense, really. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Plastics and the environment. Simple. Yeah.
Great.
All right. Let's. I do have the article, the title of the article down here. So let's take a look at it. What if we could put our plastic trash to good use? Oh, and someone else just came up with the effect of environmental cost by reducing plastic pollution. Very good. So yeah, you guys kind of hit it all on the nose. It's basically the same thing. What if we could put it to good use? Very good. And then this was the picture associated with that article. Very good. So that kind of concludes our lesson today. Feel free to, in the chat, give us any feedback or questions that you might have. Thank you guys for joining us. I really appreciate you guys being here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. အားလုံးကျေးဇူးတင်တယ်နော်ဟုတ်ကဲ့မေးချင်တာလေးမသိတာမရှိတာလေးရှိလားမသိเนาะကျွန်တော်တို့ lesson 1တော့ဒီနေ့ဒီမှာဆုံးမယ်ပေါ့နော်မေးချင်တာလေးမသိတာလေးမရှင်းတာလေးရှင်းပြောပေးပါ chat မှာမဟုတ်နဲ့ကျွန်တော်ရဲ့ page မှာပြောပေးပါဟုတ်ကဲ့အားလုံးအဆင်ပြေเนาะဟုတ်ကဲ့ကျွန်တော်ဟိုမနေ့ဖြန်မဟုတ်ဘူး Thursday ပေါ့နော်ကြာတာပနေ့ကျွန်တော်6နာရီခွဲပေါ့နော် lesson 2ဟိုဒီ reading နဲ့ပဲဆက်သွားပါမယ်နောက်တစ်ပတ်ကျွန်တော်တို့ဟိုဗုဒ္ဓဟူးနဲ့ကြာတာပနေ့ writing class တော့ပို့ရှိပါတယ်เนาะအားလုံး free ပါပဲကျွန်တော်ဒီတငယ်ချင်းတွေဟိုစိတ်ဝင်စားမဲ့သူတွေရှိရင်လည်းပြောပေးပါဟုတ်ကဲ့เนาะဒါပေမဲ့မနေ့ဖြန်မဟုတ် Thursday ကြာတာပနေ့ဘယ်နာရီလဲ 8:30 so let me just type that in the chat box Thursday 6:30 I keep saying 8:30 p.m. ကျွန်တော်မြန်မာစံတော်ချိန်ပေါ့နော်6နာရီခွဲlesson 2ကိုလုပ်မှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်เนาะဟုတ်ကဲ့အရင်ကျေးဇူးတင်တယ်ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ lesson လေးကိုဒီသင်တန်းလေးလာတက်ပြည့်အတွက်မေးချင်တာလေးရှိလားမသိဘူးလည်း comment လေးတွေပြောချင်တာလေးတွေ
So we had a question how to analyze when we have a longer passage and limited time. Yeah, that's definitely more difficult. I don't know if Teacher Kai, you might know the test a little bit better since you know how much time they might have.
Okay, ကျွန်တော် IELTS ဟိုနည်းနည်းစိတ်ဝင်စားခြင်းနဲ့အဲ့ဒါအဲ့လိုမျိုး test တွေကျွန်တော်မှတ်မိလောက်ဆို3 byte ဖတ်ရတယ်အတပိုင်းကိုမိနစ်နဲ့ဆက်လာမသိပဲပြီးတယ်ကျွန်တော်မှားလိမ့်မယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ဟုတ်ကဲ့အချိန်ကန့်သက်တယ်ပေါ့နော်အချိန်ကန့်သက်တယ်တော့ခက်တယ်နောက်ဆုံးတော့ practice ပါပဲအဲကြောင့်ဟို practice များများဖတ်လေများများလုပ်လေများများကျင့်ပါလေပေါ့နော်ဟုတ်ကဲ့ကျွန်တော်ခုနလောက်တာတဲ့ဟာလေးကတကယ်ဟို step by step ပေါ့နော်တစ်ခုချင်းစီလုပ်နေဒါပေမဲ့ကျွန်တော်နည်းနည်းလေးအကျင့်ပါလာပြီဆိုတော့မြန်လာမယ်ပို့ပြီးတော့ comprehension နဲ့အချိန်နဲ့တွားပြီးတော့ဟာ strategy လေးတွေတခါကျကျွန်တော်တို့ရဲ့ reading strategy ကကိုကများများလုပ်လိုက်ရင်ကိုကလည်းကိုဟာလာကို style တခါကျပေါ်လာတဲ့အချိန်ရှိရပေါ့နော်ကျွန်တော်တို့လုပ်တိုင်းလဲကျွန်တော်လုပ်တာလေးလဲဟိုကဒီကတင်တန်းတွေအတွက်အသုံးအားလုံးဝင်မယ်တော့ဝင်မယ်မဝင်မဲ့ဟာလေးပဲရှိမယ်เนาะဒါပေမဲ့များများလုပ်လေကိုအကျင့်ပါလေဟုတ်ကဲ့အဲ့ဒါလေးကိုတော့အကြံပေးခြင်းပါတယ်ပြီးတော့ဆက်ပြီးတော့လဲကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီဟို strategy လေး skill လေးသင်ပြီးတော့မှာပေါ့နော်ဟုတ်ကဲ့မနေ့ပြန်
Hi, would you mind translating your answer briefly? What you
so I was just telling the if they are thinking about taking IELTS test it's basically I think it's 3 reading articles and it's like 20 minutes.
1 hour.
So so like question 2, no, April, you really have to go fast sometimes. I think, the only way to get fast is like to practice. It's almost like math, this is, I hate that it's time limited, right? Sometimes, it doesn't really assess you very well. But again, it's just like, taking a math test. Like, you really have to practice. You really have to learn strategy, how to be fast. Sometimes, they would just some people just look at the question first and then go back to the article, or they look at the article, go back to the question. So like stuff like that. No, okay, April. ခုနတခါကျချို့တွေကquestion အရင်ဖတ်တယ်ပြီးတော့text ကိုပြန်သွားတယ်ဟုတ်လားအဲ့လိုမျိုး strategy လေးပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒါလေးများလို့လေးပေါ်လာလိမ့်မယ်နော်ဟုတ်ကဲ့ခက်တယ် so it's hard, I know, but again, I think it just comes down to practice and to get used to the testing style. Like, again, if you're doing IELTS, just do a lot of questions, past year's questions, and then you kind of get the hang of how they are and how they question you, how they set up questions, what it looks like. So
and someone just mentioned we're teaching you practices of how we're teaching you strategies, how to make it easier. On it, I have taken the IELTS for practice, and it was even hard for me. I could not read every word because I'm a slow reader. So the important thing is those key words, is really focusing on those key words, really focusing on the first and the last paragraph, and using those strategies.
I hope that answers April's question. The child may go late to the no more the child comments or Dali the line Dali low in Bogame so the whole suggestion late to no to not look at a mara late in the viola. The low in Bogame. Okay.
And if you start to practice and you have any questions, you can always, send us a message on Facebook, and we're always here to help.
Okay, we're here to help. We'll be posting more lessons in the future. So, below,ပြောလာလို့ဒီပညာရေးနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ online course လေးတွေပို့နေတယ်ဒီပညာရေးနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့တူတာပေါ့နော်ဒီသိစရာ information တွေတင်လေးတွေကြည့်ချင်တဲ့ဖတ်ချင်တဲ့ဆိုကျွန်တော်ရဲ့ page ကို follow လုပ်ပေးကြပါ Okay, so I think thank you so much everyone. So မနေ့ပြန်အားလုံးပြောအောင်နော်အမြင်မနေ့ပြန်ဖြစ်ပြန်ပြီ Thursday ကြာသပတေးနေ့ဘယ်နိုင်လဲ
We have someone who wants to introduce themselves.
Oh, who? Of course.
Go ahead. No.
Oh, I see. Okay. Ourselves, I think. Yeah, I think that'll be great. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
John, you're the lead. Go ahead.
All right. So this is April. Hi, April. I'm John. I'm teacher John. Do we want to do any other parts of our introductions? I'm a teacher in Florida, if you're wanting to know.
Jen, go ahead. Oh.
And I'm Jen. I am also a teacher in the same school as Mr. Kai, and I teach English.
Okay, ကျွန်တော်ဟို Jen နဲ့ကျွန်တော်အတူပဲဟိုကျောင်းစာသင်ပါတယ်เนาะကျွန်တော်ခုနှစ်တန်းဟုတ်ကဲ့ကျွန်တော်လုပ်တဲ့ကျောင်းနဲ့တူပါပဲကျွန်တော်ဆရာခိုင်ပေါ့เนาะကျွန်တော်မောင်ခိုင်လို့ခေါ်လိုက်ရပါတယ်เนาะဟုတ်ကဲ့ Okay.
I'm really happy to see you all.
Oh, you too. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Anybody want to introduce themselves? No pressure. Okay, all right. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Internet problems.
So,
we could not hear you.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Maybe next time I will introduce myself.
Okay.
Well, thank you for being here.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm really happy that I see the good teacher here. I'm so happy and so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we're proud of you too, and you should be proud for being here and wanting to learn. So thank you again, everyone, for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you everyone. So on Thursday, ကြာသပတေးနေ့6နာရီခွဲ 6:30. Okay, so that'll be lesson 2. And next week it's going to be Wednesday and Thursday. But next week အတွက်တော့ကျွန်တော် post မယ်เนาะဟုတ်ကဲ့ဒီ Facebook page မှာပဲအားလုံးကျွန်တော် update လုပ်ပါမယ်ဒါပေမဲ့လောလောဆယ် Thursday ကြာသပတေးနေ့ကျွန်တော်6နာရီခွဲပေါ့เนาะနည်းနည်းလေးပို့စောမယ်မိတ်ချင်အောင်ဟုတ်ကဲ့ကျွန်တော်okay, yeah, that's good. But okay, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. So good night actually. It's probably late out there.
Okay.
So all right.
Thank
Okay.
you too.
All right, bye everyone.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye. See you next time.
See you next
Thank you.
time.